Let's bring in Dr. Hanna Notte, a senior non-resident scholar at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies at Monterey. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
President Putin had talks with Iran prior to President Biden's visit to the Middle East. Now, immediately following the president's tour, Putin is back meeting with Iran and Turkey's presidents. Is the timing of these meetings meant to send a message?
I think this timing is definitely meant to send a message from the Russian point of view for two reasons I wish to make. First, this is only the second visit that President Putin is paying abroad since the start of the invasion of Ukraine in February. He was in Turkmenistan last month. Now he's in Tehran. So what the Russians are really signaling here is that they're comfortable and confident with how things are going in Ukraine. Hence, the Russian president has the bandwidth to pay attention to other foreign policy issues. The second thing here is that Russia, being under sanctions, being under isolation from the West, really wants to demonstrate that it is not isolated globally. Hence, it is turning towards the East and the global South in order to demonstrate that. And the relations with Iran and particularly Turkey being a NATO ally, are particularly important there. And so to demonstrate that Russia is a global power, an important power in the Middle East, of course, on the back of Biden's own visits to the region, the timing here is incredibly important.
And Russia and Turkey, they're discussing exports from Ukraine, grain exports. How is that possible with a war going on?
Right. I mean, there's actually a lot of issues on the table between Russia and Turkey, I believe, at the summit in Tehran. So already last week, there was a meeting in Istanbul between the Russians, the Turks, the Ukrainians, and the United Nations to discuss a framework for how grain could be exported from the Ukrainian port cities. A framework has been worked out, but it is yet to be agreed to. So I certainly believe that this will be on the table between Erdogan and Putin at this meeting, as will be Syria, because Turkey has been threatening to conduct another military operation across the border into northern Syria, and Russia is a military power on the ground there. So this is certainly something the two will be discussing. And the last point I would like to make is that Turkey has been trying to walk this very delicate balancing act over the war in Ukraine since February. Turkey has not joined sanctions against Russia, and Turkey has continued to deal with the Russians on many files. At the same time, the Turks have provided Bayraktar drones to Ukraine, and the Turks will try to continue this balancing act for as long as they can. But for Russia, to keep Turkey, a NATO ally, as close as possible is also of strategic importance.
Now, clearly, all of these relationships between Russia and Iran, between Russia and Syria, they're complicated, they're complex, and they're very different than our perspective here in the West. But U.S. intelligence, obviously, watching all of this, Putin hell-bent on power, even with all of the artillery that the U.S. has provided and funding. What should the U.S.'s move be next?
I think it's vital that the United States continues to support Ukraine militarily, that the Europeans do so, because what we'll see is this war will likely be protracted. It will continue into the fall and the winter. And Putin is really trying to sow division in the West by threatening to cut off gas supplies to Europe, by causing this food and energy crisis. He's trying to play on the fact that Western societies will tire in their support to Ukraine. And so it's important that this support continues, because the Russian military base is also not infinite. The fact that Russia might be turning to Iran for drones is an indicator of that. And so it's really important that the West, the United States, has the stamina in seeing this support through.
Well, you've been excellent at breaking things down in a way that's easy to understand, Dr. Notte. I just know that the Middle Eastern perspective and the culture here, and as well as Russia's culture, very different from the U.S. It'll be interesting to see how these things play out. This is all happening on the world stage. Dr. Notte, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.